Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afker, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of your divine uniqueness. So happy to connect with you again, whether live or on replay, and very excited that Elaina Cochran is back on the show. I think she joined us 2 times or three before, but it's been a while. I think a year ago that's the last time she joined us, and um, how to say, first, I really love her energy. It feels like really authentic. The guidance, the healing, and the support that she brings, it really feels that it comes from her heart. And also, I love the space that she holds when she interacts with others. And we felt that in her previous calls, and especially when during the Q&A when working one-on-one with the audience. And yeah, today also we will have a Q&A where you can ask her your personal questions. And so yeah, today's call will be about embodied ascension. She will be sharing about that, uh, and also she will be sharing an activation with us for the sympathetic nervous system with Archangel Raphael. And yeah, so after that we will have the Q&A. So as always, if you are on Zoom, and yeah, if you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing raise reactions, then raise hand. And if you are on the phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. And also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom or on YouTube. And yeah, so with that, Elaina, welcome back to the show. Very happy to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really grateful to be here. You have such an amazing, nourishing space. And so I've been really looking forward to connecting again.
Yeah, wonderful. Um, yeah, also very happy to have you back with us. And yeah, I was very excited when you replied, agreeing that you will be back on the show. And so just for those of our audience who are new to you, who are this is the first time they hear about you. So I would love if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your work.
Sure. So I'm always going through my own processes as well. And so along the way, I've learned how to really delve into holding sacred space for others so that they remember their innate divinity and truths. So within that space, we tap into energies, we receive messages, we open spaces for your guides. But really, what excites me is helping others remember what they have within already. And so, really that's an infinite space. And I feel like when we can really come into our heart space together and commune there, then that's where the magic happens. We live in this beautiful world. All of us here came through to connect in and ground in light at this time in our own way. And so uh, when we all come together in that space, then there's a beautiful amplification that happens. And so I greatly believe that everyone is deeply purposeful in that space.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's very beautiful introduction, and it is very connected to the subject today, embodied ascension. And yeah, ascension is really vast and big subject, and we talk a lot about that. But also, I would love if to know your own perspective and what do you mean by embodied ascension?
Yeah. So I feel like everyone here is aware of all of the big energies that have been coming in. Both, we're in this beautiful space where we have higher frequencies that we have access to all the time. My friend and I were talking, and she coined a beautiful term of expanding new energetic technologies. So we're always opening up and tuning into and learning and remembering what we can do with our own energy, what we can tap into, what we can receive, um, as well as on the way, what comes up that we've been holding that we no longer need to. And so it can be this dance, right? I feel like we're all doing our own dance. And and so for me, when you asked for the topic and I was sitting with my guides, um, I realized what I have been witnessing in myself and in my clients over the last year is, many of us have been made aware of some bigger, deeper rooted patterns and some big energies that have been coming up to really let go of. And and so within that, we have a lot of opportunity in how we're going to address it, how we're going to work with it. Because sometimes we can arrive at a place where it feels like, well, wait a minute, I've touched this one before. I've worked with this one before. And everything we're doing is cumulative. Every time we hold space for ourselves, every time we allow ourselves to have a session with someone else supporting us, um, we're opening more, we're receiving more, and so it's never that we're stepping back. Um, we're diving in deeper. And so to me, embodied ascension is remembering that it's the dance between those things. I feel like I've heard a lot of people say things of this nature. Well, I was doing so great on my path. I was feeling good in my body. I was tuning into high energies. I was feeling really high frequency. And then this happened, you know. And in one sense, it doesn't even matter what that is. It's are we using that as a way to feel like we're not being good spiritual students, right? Because I've been noticing, we have all these collective patterns that are clearing, and one of them is perfectionism, what it means to be spiritual, right? What that looks like. And so we're at a time where all of these boxes are being dissolved, within ourselves, within the collective. And so embodied ascension to me is staying very grounded, remembering that it all happens through our human, because we're talking about consciousness and frequency always. And all of these beautiful energies that we have access to are higher in vibration. And so we have to really remember to sometimes come back to the basics. Am I in my body? Am I grounding? Not only am I grounding, am I receiving from that grounded space? Because this dance of releasing and receiving has to happen through our human, because that's what we signed up for. And so a lot of times I think we just have to hold awareness, not perfectionism. Where's my consciousness? And am I holding myself in spiritual perfectionism? Am I always seeking? So am I always throwing my consciousness forward out there? There's all these little threads that I think are being cleaned up. And so just remembering that it happens through, remembering that we are simultaneously individuated and also part of the divinity of oneness in every moment. And so when we're embodied in our ascension, we're remembering that we're not going anywhere. We're tapping in and opening further. But when we do it from a deeply nurturing, grounded space, we don't get off balance. We don't blow our system out, right? We don't get ungrounded, and we're actually purposeful and effective, because we can take these new understandings, these new energetics, and we can bring them all the way through into our lives. It moves from the conceptual, like my mind understands this, to actually I'm grounding this frequency in my body. When I ground this new frequency in my body, I respond differently. I behave differently. I choose differently. So it's many things woven together.
Yeah. Yeah, I love your definition and what you just described. And one of it is that sometimes we feel ungrounded because we try constantly to be elsewhere. We always feel that's somewhere else or different situation, different people. It's like we are running away from the present moment. And even though what we want, it is here and now, but we are not aware of that because we are addicted to that state of being of wanting to be somewhere else, which
Yeah,
feels better.
it's the chase, and I
Yeah.
think that can exist in any facet of life, but some of these energies that we're tuning into, they feel so amazing. And so it can build this pattern of what's next, that excitement, that enthusiasm. I'm so excited to tap into more. And that honestly is one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things is to tune into frequencies and what can we do and what can we shift and what can we open up. However, again, where's my consciousness when I do that? Is it chasing the next thing? Or again, is my foundation really secure? Am I comfortable being in my body and engaging with those frequencies? And again, I've noticed even in myself at times, it's like, do I have a quote unquote spiritual checklist? Am I doing this? Am I doing the next thing? Am I doing all the right things? And so what does that do? It puts us in a space of right now, I'm not enough. I need to do the next thing. I need to learn the next thing. So, so when we're talking about embodied ascension, it's I know I'm already whole and complete, but moving it from my head to I feel that in my heart, because my heart is where that wisdom is truly in existence. And so from my completeness, and I hold space for the parts of me that maybe have fragmented or maybe have hidden away. Um, but this life is really an exploration. So, so from that space, there's no right or wrong. There's just experience. Some experiences feel good, some experiences feel less good. And so we always have a choice of how am I going to move from that space.
And also the concept of right and wrong that you mentioned, and we may pick it up from the society, from school, parents, or religion, uh, and and also I think it affects the way we experience life. We try to avoid some experiences that can really help us to move forward, but because we are afraid of doing something wrong, we just hold ourselves back. So how do you see that concept of right and wrong, and how maybe like would be more healthier way of living and creating our life?
Yeah, again, I feel like it falls into the category of these boxes that are dissolving. Right and wrong is a rigidity, right? It's not fluid. It's black and white, and we exist on a spectrum. And so, first of all, again, coming back to the heart, coming back to the body, and then how can so from where I am in this moment, how can I open up to more? Not more from a space of scarcity or a space of lack or not enoughness, but expansion, expansion from the wholeness of who I am already. And honestly, at times, I like to just remember that we're all adventurers. We've all been many, many things. We all came here for our own continued evolution and experience and contribution. And so we're kind of these beautiful cosmic explorers. And so even a lot of it comes down to nuance, with my clients and my students. Again, we work in frequency a lot, and a lot of times it's a subtle shift. So am I holding the rigidity of this is right or this is wrong versus what is available to me right now? Maybe I'm in an uncomfortable space. Maybe I I did something that didn't feel good, but instead of adding judgment, can I open up to what what has been brought before me for my growth and my wisdom?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. And also it's maybe also because we don't feel safe being here and now. And it feels like maybe from one hand we just feel maybe disappointed. It feels like we we may give up on our dreams and desires, and we will be just settling for less or for what is here and now. But many times it's not many times, like we are not aware that we are creating from here and now. Like all those desires, they come from now, the now moment. So
Yeah.
how do you see that that aspect of safety?
I actually love that you brought that up because that's been a really big one this year, or a lot of people. I've even noticed in sessions and with myself at times, I've noticed root chakras drawing up, kind of in, people's energies drawing in tight, that kind of protective. I'm going to cocoon myself a little bit because certainly there's a lot going on in the world that doesn't feel safe. But there's also always a death and rebirth process happening within us and within the collective. And we have some very big death and rebirth processes happening right now. And so when we come into the presence of the lack of safety, once again, can we come in and connect to safety right here in this moment in my body? I can connect to feeling safe. Okay, so a lot of what I've also been seeing is such an importance of working with our three lower chakras, the three lowest of our main seven that pertain to being in our bodies, being in a physical body, laying that foundation. A lot of what's been coming up in terms of patterns and energies are wanting to clear out of those lower chakras that we've been holding, that we've been just kind of, there's almost like an energy of gripping because it's familiar. It might be outgrown, but it's familiar, so that opens up our opportunity to step a little further into the unknown, because that's another pattern that's unwinding. Can I sit right now with the dance of, I might not have the answer, but my knowing still exists? Because again, we're not talking in a linear space. Everything's simultaneous. Everything exists in this now moment. So what's coming up for me is I don't feel safe, but safety also exists in this moment. So again, a lot of things have been pointing back to the basics, because again, we've had these big energies, we have all this opening up. But in order to really alchemize them, to really engage with them, sometimes it's as simple as, in this moment, I may feel overwhelmed, so I'm just going to come back to my breath. That's all I have to do right now. I don't have to give myself the list of here's all the perfect things. It's going to come back to my breath. Okay, what else is there? From that space, if feeling unsafe is coming up, well, then I know I'm running that energy in my body. Okay, so then as we step more and more into being sovereign, when we come up with an energy that is uncomfortable, what also exists is we can begin to move it out. And so some of these basic things that we've all been taught, that we all know, again, I feel like it's that dance of, okay, I've learned this, now what's next? Now what's next? And all of it, when I'm working with clients and my students, I use the analogy of a toolkit, and we're always expanding our toolkit. Okay. And so, yes, we're opening up this, but that doesn't mean that a very simple grounding practice is still not as powerful. It all weaves together to create a very nourishing space of being able to tune in with what is here, and then what do I need according to what's here. And the more we do that, the more we're coming into our mastery, because everyone is a master. That's another thing that's really opening up, is I'm a master, you're a master. Everyone here is their own master. And so, first of all, sometimes that comes to, is it even comfortable for me to take a breath and accept that? And I accept that I have a master inside that is connected to everything. And can I let that master guide me a little bit more rather than feeling like I have to chase the next thing or I have to learn the next thing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love that. Like you mentioned, so sometimes it can be challenging to just accept that we are masters, because the mind is used to plan everything in advance and be in control and know. Um, it wants to know like before things happen. Um, and and also another thing like related to that is that sometimes when we like we do energy healing activations, but sometimes the codes that the new codes to be activated within us, um, it happens through life experiences, and many times we don't want to go through some experiences, especially if they are challenging. So, what is your advice when we are in that situation and uh, like maybe it can be a challenging situation and we don't want to go through that, but it can be beneficial for us to activate and embody more of our mastery.
Yeah. So first of all, just awareness of am I resisting this? Because, we all know that when we resist it, we create a greater amplification of the discomfort. And so sometimes we're really being asked to come into a surrender space. Because that surrender space means, okay, I'm willing to not know in this moment, but I'm willing to listen. It's okay if I don't have the answer, but I'm willing to listen. And the more we come into that quiet space, the more we start to open up our energetic container that tends to collapse down when we're resisting, right? Because when we're resisting, our energy gets tight, our energy gets heavy. But when we're opening to receive, we're creating space. And so first of all, am I resisting this in the first place? I may not enjoy this, but what is here for me? Again, what is my part? Okay, coming into full acceptance and accountability for our lives. And that's never blaming ourselves. It's simply, if we're engaging in the world, then there's a part that's mine. And so what is that? And so if this uncomfortable space is opening again, what is here for me? And maybe if I have been in a certain pattern, if I've always responded this way, then can I shift my perspective to what else? Sometimes it's as simple as what else. And that can act like a gateway. Because again, as we talk about dissolving linear containers that we put ourselves in energetically, when we tune into the what else, that's a door. That's an open door versus a concrete wall. And
Yeah.
it's very interesting. I've seen so many people, and myself included, I've really been a lot has happened in this year since we've spoken last. And I always like to be, very transparent. I'm doing my own human work always too. We're all here learning together and expanding together. And that's the beauty of the community that you have here, that community of like-mindedness. And really it's like-heartedness. It's so nurturing and nourishing. And that's, there's such deep value in that because of what everyone here is doing. But even for one moment, if we all close our eyes together and put your hand on your heart, can we just take a big collective pause, a big collective exhale? Because if we tune in together, you can feel everyone has been working so hard. Everyone's been working so hard at doing it well, and doing it correctly, and doing it right. And so again, coming back to yourself and just a simple deep exhale. And for this moment, can I just put everything on the shelf? And I put everything outside of my own energy. And simply come back into that heart space where there's actually nothing to do. It's another pattern that's unwinding. I have to do all of these things to get there, to be this version that I'm supposed to be. And again, you already are that. We already are that. We're opening up those remembrances. And so as you keep your eyes closed, actually, if you're okay just moving into this just for a moment, when I was sitting with my guides this morning, they said, the beauty that you seek in your life, can you accept that you already are that? So as you take a breath and just receive that truth. Again, if I let the tethers of seeking down, if I drop those reins from my hands, layer by layer, I just come back to myself right here. Already the beauty that you seek. So if we sink into that, they said, can you allow yourself to tenderly hold the spaces and places that whisper that you're not enough? So just sinking into the energy of, okay, I allow myself to be held here by all the love that's already present, that I am part of. And then they said, when we allow ourselves to do that, we can come into the awareness that the one doing the holding is you, that divine you is holding the aspects of you that feel incomplete. And how beautiful is that? We haven't gone anywhere. We're right here, opening up to. So just taking a deep breath and opening your eyes when you feel ready. That's embodied ascension, working that dance.
Yeah, that's all beautiful. I loved what you shared, what you mentioned in the end, that um, like we realize that it's been us who are holding the energy and the space for ourselves. Because many times we like as part of looking somewhere else, like we try to be saved by someone or something, but then in the end we realize that it's been us who are like holding the space for ourselves. Um, and yeah, that was really, really beautiful. Thank you so much, Elaina. And uh, do we take questions from the audience, or was that the activation you plan to do?
Oh, actually, the activation was something else.
Okay.
I'm just here for whatever we do. So,
Um, so let's start with the activation, and then we
okay.
take questions. Okay. Thank you.
So, just to give a little preface for this, I was sitting, my favorite space is to connect and then just share what I'm learning, because again, I'm always learning all the time as well. I'm always opening up to more aspects of my own self and divinity. And so I was connecting recently, and Archangel Raphael was showing me, again, speaking to some of the concepts that we're touching upon, all of this deeply rooted patterning coming up for clearing. You naturally tapped into it. It can touch on feeling unsafe. And so Archangel Raphael was showing me how we have the opportunity to tune into our sympathetic nervous system, that part of us that has that flight or fight, that reactivity to keep us safe, right? So what is some of the outdated energy there? It's like vigilance. It's, if I hold myself ready, nothing can happen to me. If I hold myself ready, I'll be safe, right? And so I was being shown how, again, we're working with our body and the energies that we hold within it. And so our body, our nervous system is asking for some clearing and some nourishing and some upgrades. And so this is simple, but I find it very beautiful. And again, the practices that I'm shown, I do myself as well. And so, let's go ahead and tune into that together. So I'll just ask you to close your eyes and get comfortable. And we'll drop into our breath. Allowing that breath to lead us deeper back into our physical bodies. So just working with your awareness, your intention, drawing yourself back in, feeling yourself breathing, tuning into the soles of your feet, feeling them connecting to the earth. Wherever you are, allowing yourself to tune in and ground in, anchor in. And so together, as we open our hearts with one another, remembering that our hearts are never separate. Just breathing, dropping down into the heart space. Layer by layer, as you come deeper into your body, dropping into that heart, coming back to yourself, coming back to your sacred self that exists in the heart. The place of knowingness and no stories. And feeling how when we activate and open through the heart, we are more receptive to the beautiful energies and various beings of high consciousness that are here to support us. And so we simply allow ourselves to tune in to Archangel Raphael, feeling that beautiful, gentle strength, holding space. And so first he's asking, where have you needed to allow more space to be held for yourself? Just take a deep breath and allow yourself to really just see that, to acknowledge that, to honor that. Where am I desiring to be held on a deeper level? So big breath in, and as you exhale, can you sink into that? So he often likes to start this activation by honoring the body. And so can you tune in and allow yourself to feel the beautiful blanket of light that he likes to place around your shoulders, wrapping you in this beautiful blanket of light and gratitude for the body. Feeling that safety, feeling that nurturing space. So as we sit nurtured and nourished by these blankets of light and energy, we tune in just above the head and begin to notice there's a beautiful, vibrant green cloud of energy. It begins to place above us. And feeling the frequencies that exist in this energy, the love and the safety and the nourishment, connectedness. And we simply allow this beautiful green light to begin to descend down and rain down onto the brain, onto the top of the head. Nothing to do but simply receive this energy. And already you may feel that collective relief that starts to come just from connecting. And so a big breath in and a big breath out. Again, everything you've been holding, just let it go. We don't have to attach to story or what it is or what every energy is. Simply big breath in and allow yourself to be nourished and receive this energy and this light. Feeling as this energy soaks in like a nourishing rain, like medicine, like a balm. Noticing how the physical body responds, how the tension patterns begin to unwind just from initial contact. And now we simply allow this energy to begin moving and clearing, bringing it down through that brain, making its way towards the brain stem. Simply clearing any old congested energies of vigilance, of resistance, that energy of holding steadfast in order to feel safe. And you take a big breath in and sink into the fluidity that begins to open up when you let go. We gently allow this energy to begin to connect into the spinal cord itself. Big breath in. Some of you, it almost feels like an electricity or coming online again. As we simply notice without judging this stagnation that's been present, the outdated energy that we've been holding, and how beautiful it is that it's ready to be cleared and transmuted and released. So feeling this energy flow down the top of the spinal cord, just opening, clearing. And you may even get the sensation like your spinal cord is having a nice little stretch in all directions. There can be a sense of returning buoyancy or fluidity. Sometimes it almost feels like a dryness in there. We're just breathing and allowing ourselves to receive more of this beautiful light, more of this beautiful energy, allowing it to continue down through the spinal cord. Feeling that natural lift that starts to occur as we release heavy energies and densities, old patterns. And so what we're starting to do here is we're moving from hypervigilance into safe receptivity. So we're opening up that other aspect, which is I trust myself to receive information in real time. So if I need to shift, if I need to make a change, I trust that I can tune into energies as I need to. But it's safe for me at this time to let go of the energy I've been holding of hypervigilance in order to be safe. So everyone take a big breath in, big breath out as we allow more of this energy to open up, flow down through the spinal cord. There's a sensation of flowing and flushing and little tethers and threads starting to untangle and unbind. You allow yourself to unbind. And you may notice now if you tune in to where we've allowed this energy in, and then you just notice where we're still moving towards the difference. How beautiful is that? So taking another big breath in, allowing more of this energy to flow in, to release, to receive. You may notice how the root chakra is almost becoming magnetic, like it is drawing this energy down, like it wants to receive it. So big breath in, just allow this energy to flow all the way down into your root chakra, that foundational point where we've been holding. Have to be hyper vigilant in order to feel safe. Big breath in, let it go. And now it's opening and flowing and simply just allowing it to pour out like dirty water. That's how I always see it, just like we've opened a drain. And so another layer tuning in, are there any places now where your muscles are asking to soften even more? Can I release even further in the body to open up and really engage? Let this energy into my body. I'm open to receive what is for me, what is safe, what is nurturing. Feeling how that's flowing from the top of your head all the way down through your root chakra. Now take a big breath in. Consciously ground your energy down so that you're not only receiving this new energy and this activation, but you're grounding it into the here and now. So as you consciously ground right now, be aware that you are grounding into a new energetic space. So you just stepped out of where you were. We all did. So a few breaths to simply allow yourself to integrate and really feel this. When we feel and engage with these energetic spaces, then they become familiar, they become touchstones that we can return to. So with no rush, let's take a moment to open our eyes when it feels like it's time. Again, when you open your eyes, do so with the understanding that you stepped into a new energetic space.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Elaina. Yeah, that was a really powerful activation and process. We loved it, and in the end, it brought a sense of freedom and release, empowerment, and also feeling sovereign, like in a way that, how to say, we don't need to prove our worth to be the master that we are, or to receive what we want and what we need. So yeah, that was very, very empowering. So thank you so much, Elena.
My pleasure. Yeah, there's so many things we can do there. I'm really known in my community for we can be there a long time. So I was also trying to be aware of our time here because we could easily be there for a long time.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
Um, yeah,
But
yeah, go ahead.
what I find really powerful about that, again, is um, embodied ascension is I am expanding into my natural awareness, but my natural awareness isn't clouded by my old outdated patterns. So in this sense, we're talking about that hypervigilance, the rigidity. I don't feel safe, so I have to be rigid and ready for whatever comes to me. And so the space that exists on the other side of that, or the opposite side of the coin, as we open up, is I'm safe in my ability to navigate in real time. And that's fluidity. And that's the heart.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. And then we have Linda Shirot. That was lovely. Thank you. Wade, I love that. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Beautiful. And
It's not
just
me.
wonderful. And yeah, just a reminder, everyone, we will start taking questions in a couple of minutes. So you can, if you want to ask your question, you can raise your hand on Zoom app by pressing reactions, then raise hand, or by clicking *9 on your phone, or you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, so before that, Elena, I would love if you can tell us about the program you are offering. So we have two packages. The first one includes 90 minutes one-on-one intuitive energy session with you, plus an activation. And then package B is it's 8-week one-on-one series. It's a personalized frequency series, and one-on-one. And yeah, for this one we have only 4 spots available. So, and I invite everyone to visit the page yourdivineuniqueness.com/Elena, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Elena, ELAINA. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. So, yeah, Elena, so I would love if you can tell us about these two packages.
Sure. So yeah, as you mentioned, the first is just a one-on-one session, typically an hour and a half. And I put an hour and a half, but really I'm not rigid in the time we work in the space that we need to. And so again, we're talking about sometimes undefinable spaces. So we come in together, I say it's opening up, and then we go where we're guided. So depending on what's coming up for you in that moment is where we go. So it can look like many different things, but ultimately it's for you to connect more deeply to yourself in the space that we're talking about. And then I included an activation that I'd recorded for my community just in the last few months, but it's always still applicable because we're kind of working in that space of nonlinear time. But it is a deep activation and clearing of some of these foundational energies that we've been talking about today. I just felt like I was supposed to include that. And then I'm also very excited about my 8-week program because this is something I've actually been doing in a group format. And it's actually a beautiful origin story, really, really special to me because my dad actually passed away a year ago in April. And it was unexpected. He was 68, although I'd been kind of told about a year before that I didn't have much time left with him, but we don't always know what that means. A year definitely didn't feel like enough, but 5 years wouldn't have as well. But after he passed away, actually, his passing was a whole other process that I could spend a lot of time telling you about. It was one of the most profound experiences I've ever had. But he very quickly started showing up just a few days later. He had actually actively been showing me how his transition was, even the day it happened. It was very, very beautiful. He showed me how easefully and how supported, and it was an absolutely profound expansion for me. But the way it's related here is he started telling me that he was going to help me with a course. And I said, okay, thank you. I think I need a little more time to grieve first. But just a few short weeks after that, I was meditating, and sure enough, I saw frequency in gold letters, and he and my guide showed me what I was to be sharing with others in it. And so I've actually had 3 rounds of this in a group setting in the last year. But recently, I was shown that there's a real potency in also offering it in a one-on-one space, because then we can really tune in together. It's just us. And really the purpose of this, again, I mentioned the toolkits, but how can we together really give you those foundational practices that you have always that nurture you. And then from there, from that really grounded, nourishing space, we can continue to open up, and we can continue to tap in and learn more and receive more, but always we do it from a strong foundation. We make sure we're still maintaining our energetic hygiene. Those things never become unimportant. So those are the two spaces that we're offering today. So excited.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
Monsef, thanks for having me. I'm just happy to see you again. It's just fun to be here.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, also, like, I always feel happy to have you here on the show, and also I was really excited when you confirmed you will join us this time. So beautiful, and yeah, thank you again for the support you are offering to our audience through the both packages, the one-on-one session or the 8-week one-on-one program, and also thank you for doing this, because like receiving one-on-one support, like focused support on ourselves can really make the experience really deep and very powerful, and the shift can happen maybe faster. So thank you for that. And so again, everyone, I invite you to sign up for one of these 2 packages on just Miriam, I will mute you. Yes. So you can sign up to one of these 2 packages on the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Elaina, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Elaina, ELAINA. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description, and on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, so also we have 2 payment plans and 3 payment plans to make it easier if you feel guided to sign up. And yeah, so again, just so we'll start taking questions now. So if you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand, and also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. So Tatiana, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes. Hello, Elaina. Hello, Mansell. Thank you for
love seeing faces.
It was very peaceful meditation or clearance, I would say. It was very peaceful in my heart and my body. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, my thing is, I may resist something subconsciously. Probably I do. But my thing is like trying to control things. And if I can't, then I go into worrying. And then, yes, I have to do this thing, when I ground myself and I kind of choose to go into my heart and choose to like let go and almost surrender. And sometimes it's easier to surrender, and sometimes it's not very easy, and I have to do it again and again and again. But if you could feel, do I resist anything at the moment? Subconsciously, maybe, because I'm sure that subconsciously I have a lot of still stuff that I have to kind of work on, if you could feel. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, sometimes when certain energies come up, it may not be something that we're dealing with in this moment, but immediately what came as you were talking was just some old unprocessed grief.
Okay.
Yeah. And so um so my guides are showing me there's almost like a beautiful river available to you. And so when you try to dam up that river, it may be because there's fear or this will take over me. But in actuality, if we just take some breaths and we sink into it and we allow it to, it doesn't have to be entangled with a ton of story. But again, okay, there's just an energy of some old grief in my body. Can I sit with that? Can I allow it to move through me like water? So a lot of times that's the metaphor. That's the way I see energy leaving us. We can allow it to be easeful like water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. There is a lot of love in my heart, but I also feel sometimes, yes, grief, sadness. I don't know if it's grief, it's sadness, and sometimes even fear of not kind of, I don't know even what I fear, but feels like fear, but maybe it is grief. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I will work on it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Montse. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana. Much love. Yeah, and also thank you very much, Elena, for the guidance. And Miriam, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes. Hello.
No.
Hi.
Hi. I know you said you like faces, and I didn't think to turn on my video.
It's just fun to see, but no pressure.
Yeah. So now, it's interesting that I found you in this call today at the time that I did, because right before it, I was hit with some very unsettling financial news, and I've already been through so many shaken me to my core experiences over the past year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, literally, I was getting, as I got this news, this adrenaline tingles up and down my whole body. It was so intense. And I have a brain injury right now from an accident that makes it harder to process anything. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to sink into this meditation, because it was right before you were leading us into our hearts and then into the activation. And so I was doing my best to be super present, because my energy was so hypervigilant, as the word that you used, but also, but it was really wide open. It was almost like, wow, this is the perfect time to take the most intense thing that I've felt in a while into this deeper heart space. And I did the best that I could. And I mean, I actually was able to stay calm more than I would have expected. And so I am very grateful. And I didn't know if there was anything else that you could share that could help me with this deeper stability, to have that foundation again, because I know it must be from lineage and other lifetimes. I've been doing a lot of deep work with all of that, but it's I heard it was in my gut. There was something horrific that I have still not processed through the gut. But if there's anything you could share that would be helpful, I would be grateful.
Yeah, so it's interesting because my very first hit when you began talking was, "Ooh, we need to lift." So yes, you're kind of blown open from this experience, but there's a lifting because this was big, right? This was enormous. And so what happens is, again, our energy collapses in upon itself. So let's take a big, big breath. And we're just going to expand the space around you because we can feel the heaviness of this situation. Blindsided is kind of the space that it feels like. And so within that, actually, what my guides are also telling me is, and this is something that I notice a lot, and I've noticed in myself, because again, are we being good spiritual students, stewards? Are we doing everything correctly? So there's an ancestral piece that I feel, again, when we're working in nuance, because a lot of times things are true, but we can just shift a tiny bit and so much more opens up. And so, yeah, because a lot in your lower back too is really coming in there. Ancestrally, so much of us have been doing ancestral work. However, what we are invited to do is not carry the burden of that. Okay, so it can be true that we can bring in aspects, even of other lives, ancestral patterns, all of that can be true, but how are we holding it? Because a lot of times we put ourselves into a sense of obligation. So I have to be in this obligatory space of going through this thing because I'm healing my ancestral trauma. Whew, how heavy is that, right? Mm-hmm. So again, we're talking about sovereignty. So yes, this happened. And yes, at the same time, you have a beautiful foundation to tap into, and what else is here for you. So many, many foundational energies. So regardless of what's happening in this moment, how much can I tune into allowing myself to receive? Earlier, when I was talking about, our grounding practices, going back to some of those basics, sometimes the beauty is in the basics. So we ground, but then once we ground, Monsef, this also tunes in, taps into what we were talking about with safety. So another thing my guide shared with me this morning that I feel is for this space is unconsciously, some of us haven't even been comfortable tapping into the earth because what's going on in the earth right now, there's so much discord, right? And so what we are invited to do is I can open up, I can tap into and receive from the purest space. So allowing yourself to ground in, and now can you open up and receive the absolute purity, the purest consciousness of the earth? Because this was a destabilizing energy. So immediately we have to go back layer by layer and re-stabilize you. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I've definitely had difficulty with grounding it through the earth for what the reasons that you just mentioned. I love nature and I feel a close connection to Gaia, White Tara, New Earth. But when I go to ground, there's often that awareness of the density. So I was trying to, I asked for help to kind of expand my grounding cord and have it be pure and then go into like the very heart, or to feel her heart in my heart. Like I'm inside of her and she's inside of the heart of the cosmos, so that I kind of grounded through my heart as best I could.
Absolutely. But with focus on letting it pour in and you simply receive. So again, I allow myself to receive. I don't have to do work. I'm receiving right now. Okay. And the more we can start to realign with that internal comfortability with receiving, we start to shift things. So letting...
How do we receiving? I know is not that familiar to a lot of us.
Yeah, because again, we're taught to have our energy outward, do, think, process, plan, right? But we're turning our consciousness inward. We're connecting into that heart space. We allow ourselves to receive. So when we have moments of instability, we know that we go right back to our foundational space. Okay, so you're already so beautifully connected to the heart of the earth. Okay, so ask her in her beautiful supportive consciousness to let that energy flow up and nourish your root chakra. and receive those energies. And receive doesn't have to be a big convoluted word. It's, I allow myself to commune more. Notice how your energy is starting to come back into your body.
It was interesting when you just said it receive didn't have to be convoluted. I allow myself to commune more. Something about commune flipped a switch for me, a different switch.
Because receive is, it has patterns in it that are clearing out. It's part of what's being cleared. So commune, again, can be a doorway in between. Commune can be a door, a stepping stone into safety and receiving.
Yeah, because I feel the word receive in my brain and my head, which is so challenged right now with saying it just wants to be at ease, at peace, no effort, and yet commune, I could feel more in my root and in my gut.
You know, and commune speaks to relationship, because the truth is when we're in relationship to everything. We're in relationship to frequencies, we're in relationship to earth, we're in relationship to one another. So how can we go into relationship more deeply? So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I must be in shock because I don't even have tears yet, and I know normally they would come. But I'm very, very grateful. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you,
absolutely.
For your heart and your presence.
And play with bringing this earth energy into your three lowest chakras. And and a session would also be good if it feels correct. But at let yourself bring that into those three lowest and see how you feel.
In your sessions, are you able to, through the quantum field, help us clear the roots of why we're even drawing experiences that shake us to our core like that?
Yeah, we go, again, when I open up energies, where we are in the moment is what is presenting itself. So, sometimes we clear by layers, sometimes we go right in. It depends on where you're ready to meet yourself, if that makes sense.
Because anything's possible in the quantum, right? And
yeah,
it's a matter of what helps us allow it. That's where I feel stumped.
Yep, because what we're doing, again, we are healing, trying to understand the quantum in our mind. We never will, and that's okay. The heart already understands it. So when we go into that frequency space, that's when we open up magic.
We can commune with the quantum too, huh? We are quantum.
Do all kinds of fun things.
Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you, Montse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, thank you. Much love. And also thank you, Elaina. I loved your answer and also how you approach that, because sometimes we can experience resistance to go directly to the shift we want, but when we try to do that in steps like you mentioned, commune and receive, it can make the process more easier. So
yeah, I feel like so much of it, what is opening up again is historically we've really liked to punish ourselves. Healing has to be arduous and I have to feel terrible, and certainly sometimes we're absolutely stripped to our core. Again, truthfully, this year has brought me to my core, and also absolutely incredible expansions. And the more I drop my resistance, the more I have access to, and that is true for every one of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Therefore, thank you so much, Elaina. And Yeah, we have Sue on the phone. Hello?
Hello, Monisette.
Hello, Sue.
Hello, and hello, Elaina. Thank you for taking my call. Much appreciated. Elaina, I have a question. I'm having an issue right now. My, as you want to call it, the brain gut digestive tract is not connecting with the brain. So I've been having a lot of digestive issues, and I also noticed it's been affecting the brain. I'm not almost like digesting my food. I've been taking supplements, but I'm not absorbing them. Can you maybe figure out why this is happening? It's been happening within the last 3 months.
Okay. And how, so it just suddenly came about? Have you had any other life experiences that have kind of coincided with this, or did it seem like it just happened?
A lot of it has happened. I had to have gallbladder surgery a couple years back. I was okay and everything, and for some reason, within the last couple months, this has just got aggravated. And I'm not taking any different supplements. I'm not eating any different foods. And I just don't know the connection. And then I know I had a brain injury 10 years ago, but for some reason now the brain and gut don't want to connect anymore. They're not like talking to each other.
So what I am being shown, what immediately came up is, and sometimes this can be like a step to the next space that we go. But immediately what came up was allowing yourself to sit in your worthiness. And that can seem sometimes like, well, great, I'll I'll connect to my worthiness, but I really want my digestion to work. But again, we know that everything is connected, and immediately when you begin talking, my guides are showing me where can you allow yourself to meet yourself more fully, and what is your body trying to show you. So
Okay.
Yeah, there's a very beautiful space there for you. Again, we're talking about receiving today.
You hit it. That's the next part of receiving. Okay, thank you. Yep. I get it now, because that's my problem. Yep. Receiving. And they're showing me, I think they're just showing me in different ways, hey, wake up to this now. And I am learning to do that. And I understand where that's coming from, because I've been having a physical issue and my husband's been my caregiver, and it really made me angry. So I was working through that, but where do we hold the anger? In the gut. So it's like, okay, so now you're right. I'm learning to receive, but they're still showing me you're not doing it fully.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were just showing me like truly sink in, like a big okay, that feels good. And I let myself feel good. Even starting there.
That's wild, because as we're talking, I'm talking about the receiving, like she's finally getting it, and the gut started relaxing. Like the whole digestive system's like, finally.
Keep some minerals and nutrients. How about that?
I know. I get that. And but I was thinking, why all of a sudden this acting up? But you're right. It's another step towards receiving.
We have so many ways of receiving our lessons, or our, even that. I don't love attaching to this concept of we're here to learn lessons even. I think that's unwinding, where we have the opportunity to, again, sometimes we're taken to deep discomfort, but also within that, can we unwind that we have an expectancy that we have to learn through heaviness or strife? right? So all these little nuances and refinements that we get to play with.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, it makes sense now. I just didn't get the connection of why this was happening. So it's all a part of allowing myself to receive whatever is given, accept it, and move on.
And also let it sink in. So again, we can get it in the mind, but how does it feel in the heart when we're there? Okay. And that's the deeper, that's embodiment.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, right. And that's where I have to let the heart receive.
Yeah. It's going to feel great.
Right. And you said about worthiness. And now all of a sudden, I know I'm worth something, but this is all going to take time now, I guess, to integrate.
Yeah.
Thank
There's
you.
no rush. My pleasure. Thank you.
And my condolences in the loss of your father.
Oh, thank you. He's an amazing man.
Yeah, I lost my father 21 years ago. And I always say, he's always around me, and they never leave.
No, that daddy is beautiful.
Well, like I said, thank you for everything. You're such a blessing. And thank you, Monisette. You know, in my heart, I love you too. So thank you. Both of you have a blessed day.
You too.
Thank you, Sue. Much love. And yeah, also thank you very much, Elaina, for the guidance and holding the space. And yeah, so thank you so much also for everything you shared today. I really loved the call today, the discussion with her, with you. It was really profound, the activation. I loved it. And also the support you brought to our callers. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. This is my favorite thing. So I'm just happy to be here.
Wonderful. Yeah, and also everyone, thank you so much for being here with us today, for sharing this space and time with us, whether on the live call or on the replay. And yeah, again, I invite you to sign up to one of the 2 packages that Elaina is offering to us. And the link is yourdivineuniqueness.com/Elaina, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Elaina, ELAINA. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page, and the link also on YouTube video description and on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, so the first package includes 90 minutes one-on-one intuitive energy session plus an activation. And then package B includes 8-week series. It's one-on-one series. It's a personalized frequency series. And we have 4 spots for that. And yeah, so again, thank you everyone for the beautiful energies you shared with us today and co-creation with us this call. And I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Oh, the one-on-one session.